Hi, I'm Vance, and welcome to Repair and Replace. If you start your dishwasher, but it isn't filling with water, then it's likely a problem with the water valve or the float switch. In this episode, first, we'll learn how it all works. Then we'll do some tests with a multimeter. Finally, we'll see how to install a new float switch and water valve. Thank you to Frigidaire for sponsoring this video. Let's begin. Most dishwashers work in the same basic way. It's a tub with a spray arm that showers your dishes with water. There's an element to heat the water, a pump that circulates and sprays it, and another pump that drains it. By combining these simple components in different ways, the machine creates its various wash cycles. Let's take a look at a typical pre-wash, main wash, and rinse cycles. When you start a program, a pre-wash begins. First, the drain pump runs to clear any dirty water from the sump basin. Next, power is sent to the inlet valve, which fills the tub with warm water. This cycle does not use detergent and is usually heated only through the hot water supply. Once it fills, the circulation pump forces the water through the spray arms. The spinning is driven by the water pressure. This washes away any large food particles. Next, the drain pump runs to purge the dirty water. During the wash cycle, the tub fills with water again. For a high temp or heavy wash setting, the heating element will raise the water temperature to improve cleaning performance. Next, the dispenser releases the detergent, which dissolves into the water. The circulation pump runs and sprays the dishes. This will run for up to an hour. Then the drain pump clears the tub. Next is the rinse cycle. The tub will fill and the dishes are sprayed again. Rinsing, and on some models added heat, help remove any remaining residue. Finally, the tub is drained and the dishes dry. If the water valve fails, then the tub won't fill with water. The float switch shuts off the water when the level is too high. If the switch is stuck closed, then it will prevent any water from dispensing. Using a multimeter, components can be tested for continuity. A successful continuity test proves that electricity can pass through the circuit. Without continuity, the component will not work and will need to be replaced. To begin, you might need a screwdriver or nut driver, pliers, and a multimeter. You might also need channel lock pliers, an adjustable wrench, and a socket set. Keep in mind, there is some variation between models, and not all dishwashers will have the same parts. You can enter your model number on the AMRE Supply website to see a parts breakdown. This can be helpful to show you which parts are in your dishwasher and where they are located. First, make sure that the water hose is not pinched or blocked in any way. As well, make sure to inspect the hose when you remove the dishwasher. First, shut off the breaker to disconnect the power. In some cases, you can unplug the dishwasher. Now shut off the water supply valve. This should be located under the sink. It's also a good idea to wear cut-resistant gloves, as there can be some sharp edges. To access the components, you'll have to remove the dishwasher from the cabinet. These steps may vary depending on your model. Loosen the clamp to remove the drain hose from the sink. If there's a spring clamp, then you'll need to use pliers. Now feed the hose through the cabinet. Unscrew and remove the lower access panel. Next, unscrew the water supply line from the inlet valve. In some models, the valve is located in the back and is only accessible once you remove the dishwasher. Unscrew the cover to the junction box. Next, remove the wire nuts. Now unscrew and remove the ground wire. Unscrew the strain relief. Now remove the wires. Open the dishwasher door and remove the mounting bracket screws. You might need to adjust the leveling legs to lower the dishwasher. Now carefully slide the dishwasher out. To avoid scratching the floor, you can put a flat piece of cardboard or a drop cloth under the legs. Now tilt the dishwasher onto its back. If your model has a bottom pan, then you'll have to remove it. Remove any mounting screws. Now release any mounting tabs. Next, lift off the bottom pan. If needed, disconnect any wires. Before removing the valve, you can test it in place with a multimeter. First, disconnect the wires. Set your multimeter to the resistance setting. Touch each probe to each terminal. There should be a resistance reading between 500 and 1500 ohms. If there is no continuity or the resistance is far outside of that range, then the valve has failed and will need to be replaced. A continuity test will only show if the valve has failed electrically. It's still best to check to see if there's anything stuck inside or is caught on the mesh screen. Disconnect any remaining wires. Now remove the fill hose clamp. This might be a gear clamp or, in some models, a spring clamp. Then remove the fill hose. If needed, you can use a flat blade screwdriver to help loosen the hose. But be careful not to damage the valve. Next, unscrew the water valve. Align the new water valve into the mount. Now, tighten the mounting screws. Align the fill hose onto the fitting. Now, secure the clamp. Finally, reconnect the wires. In a lot of cases, we can test the float switch in place. It's best to take a picture of the wires for reference. Now disconnect the wires. Set the multimeter to the ohms or resistance setting. Now touch the probes to each terminal. Pressing and releasing the switch should connect and disconnect the circuit. There should be continuity with a resistance between 0 and 1 ohm. If there is no continuity at all, then the switch is faulty and should be replaced. If there's 3 terminals, then you'll have to do several tests. The terminals will be labeled COM for common, NO for normally open, and NC for normally closed. A normally closed terminal will form a complete circuit at rest. It will stay energized until the switch is pressed and the circuit is opened. A normally open terminal is not energized at rest and will only complete the circuit when the switch is pressed closed. With the wires disconnected, the float switch is simple to replace. Use a screwdriver to remove the mounting screw. Now remove the switch. Align the new switch into place, making sure that the pin lines up. Now tighten the mounting screw. Finally, reconnect the wires. Align the bottom pan into the mount. Press in to lock the mounting tabs. Now tighten the mounting screws. First, feed the drain hose into the sink cabinet. Gently slide the dishwasher into place. If necessary, adjust the leveling legs. Tighten the screws to secure the dishwasher to the countertop. Now connect the drain hose and tighten the clamp. Make sure that the drain hose has an elevated loop above the connection. This will prevent water from flowing back into the dishwasher. Feed the wires into the junction box and tighten the strain relief. Now connect the ground wire. Next, tighten the wire nuts to secure the wires. Now replace the junction box cover. Attach the water supply line to the inlet valve and tighten it into place. Finally, replace the lower access panel. Turn on the water supply. Next, reconnect the power. Now it's best to test the dishwasher to see if it's working properly. You can start a cycle even without any dishes or detergent. If this works, then cancel the cycle and run a full load of dishes. If you found this episode helpful, then subscribe to our channel. And when you need a replacement part, you can get it online or in one of our AMRE Supply branches. Thanks for watching.